Hey everyone, let's finish up with the Quran. And I'm going to show you how it's not just the Bible, it's not just the Old Testament, it's not just the New Testament, it's not just the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Enuma Elish, Code of Hammurabi, the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is Sumerian. It's also the Quran. So the first sign is Aquarius, which is represented by the man. So whenever you hear son of man, man, baptism, water pitcher, fountain, stream, river, lake, pond, creek, they're talking about Aquarius. The same thing applies for Pisces, the same, because Pisces is the mutable water sign. Aries is the ram, and in Aries you have March 21st, which is the spring equinox. It's a 12-hour day and a 12-hour night. It's also the Passover, or the passing over of the sun over the equator and back on its way to its height in the summer solstice. In Christianity, the passing over is changed, and it's called the resurrection of God's son. So whenever you hear ram, lamb, shepherd, ram's horn, Jews, they're talking about Aries. Then Taurus is the bull. And when you look at the sky and you see Taurus during the season where it's supposed to be, you know that you need to put the plow on the bull so that you can plant the seed so you can harvest in Virgo and Libra. So whenever you hear bull, ox, calf, or cow being the female bull, you're talking about Taurus. Then Gemini is the twins. It's the story of Castor and Pollux Troy, whose sister was Helen of Troy. It's the story of Achilles. So whenever you hear twins or brothers, you're talking about Gemini. Cancer is the crab, and it's the sideways moving creature. So just as the sun rises a degree on its axis starting on December 25th, it stops on June 21st. Then for 3 days, it rises to the same degree, hence moving sideways. Then on June 25th, it lowers a degree. The crab in the ancient Egyptian time was known as the scarab. So whenever you hear crab or beetle, they're talking about Cancer. Then Leo is the king. It's the lion. It's the king of the jungle. The ruling planet of Leo is actually the sun. So whenever you hear lion, lioness, cub, they're talking about Leo. Virgo is the woman holding the wheat stalk. So you remember before when we said that you plant in Taurus, well, the virgins would cultivate the wheat in Virgo in order to make the bread for the year. So whenever you hear virgin, wheat, grain, seed, barley, corn, grainy things that you harvest, that's all in Virgo. Then Libra is the justice. It's the scales, it's the balance, it's the just one. And the reason it's the justice is because it judges God's sun as it passes over the fall equinox and begins its descent into winter, into cold, into death. The Jews always celebrate the new year around the fall equinox. Libra is also wine season, which when you plant for grapes in Taurus, you can press the wine here. So whenever you hear any law or lawly things, law, judge, justice, the just one, divorce, marriage, court, that's Libra. Wine, vineyard, wine press, grapes, that's Libra. Libra is also when you press the olives into the oil. So whenever you hear olives or oil, you're talking about Libra. Scorpio is the scorpion, and he is the betrayer. When a scorpion bites you, it leaves an imprint in your skin that looks like a pair of lips. That's why the mafia has the kiss of death. And it's why Jesus was betrayed by Judas with a kiss. So the sun is judged in Libra and betrayed in Scorpio. Finally, in Sagittarius, this is where the bow and the arrow shoot the sun and inflict further punishment on the sun. This is where the sun dies. Why? Because on December 21st, the sun is at its lowest point. It cannot rise any lower. It's dead. It's the dead of winter. It remains at the lowest level for 3 days, which is why Jesus was dead for 3 days. When on December 25th, or the birth of God's son, it rises another degree and starts to make its way back up to the top. So whenever you hear horse, bow and arrow, spear, or horseman, they're talking about Sagittarius. And then finally, Capricorn is the goat because he likes to climb the mountain. So the zodiac wheel starts with Capricorn at the bottom of it. And that's where it starts making the metaphorical climb up the mountain. So let's just jump right into the Quran, guys. Surah 1, the opening of the book. Day of Judgment 1, he is the sovereign. The Day of Judgment is December 21st in Sagittarius, which is when the sun is finally executed on the judgment provided during Libra, the scales, the justice, the just one. The cow, when they are told, you on earth do not sow wickedness, they answer, on the contrary, we only sow good here. Sowing takes place in Taurus. Taurus is the bull, the calf, the cow. Remember, the ox, which is when you plant the seeds. That's why Surah 2 is called the cow, because they're metaphorically talking about Taurus here. 22, he raised up the heavens as a covering and poured out water abundantly from heaven to grow fruit for your food. The zodiac is the heavens covering. Pouring out water comes from Aquarius, the man with the water pitcher pouring it out. 25, they are waiting for gardens washed by rivers, and whenever they will be served fruits from there, The rivers are Pisces, the river with the fish in them, and they will be served fruits in Libra when the fruits are ready to be harvested. 29. Then he proceeded to creating the heavens, and in them he built 7 celestial vaults. The 7 vaults, incidentally, the heavens are the heavens, the zodiac. And the 7 vaults are the planets they knew about at the time. See, we know that I consider Pluto a planet still, because in astrology, Pluto has a lot of placements and does a lot of things when you do charts. But technically, there's 8 planets right now, right? But at the time, they only knew about 7. Okay. 51, 54. You in his absence too, the Taurus for veneration. You have taken a calf for veneration. This is talking about the bull in Taurus. Okay, the calf is Taurus, and Taurus translates to Taurus, and that's the bull. 93. Hold fast to what was entrusted to you and follow obedient this law. They answered, we hear, but we do not obey him. Out of their unbelief, they poured out into their hearts a perverse affection for the calf. You have a perverse affection for the calf too in the Bible, when Moses goes to the top and they come down and he comes down and he sees everybody worshiping a golden calf. Those are the Jews, the people of Aries. They're worshiping the wrong time period. And the Muslims in Islam and in the Quran, they're the people of Pisces too. I mean, they're the people of Pisces, sorry. The Jews are the people of Aries, and the Muslims and the Christians are the people of Pisces. Okay? The law is judgment, the law and the judgment. They poured their hearts out for affection for the calf. The calf is the bull. They were worshiping the bull again. However, they were in the age of Pisces. This was wrong. 118. Those who do not know say, why has not the Lord turned the word to us, and why will he not show us a sign from heaven? Similar words were spoken by those who came before them with their hearts alike. We interpret the signs for those who are committed to the faith with all their soul. Looking for a sign in heaven. They're literally talking about God showing them a sign or interpreting it for them. They interpret the signs for those who are committed to faith. Other people understanding the zodiac for you. 164. Verily in the creation of the heavens and the firmament, and in the change darkness of the night light of the day, and in the ships crossing the seas according to the needs of man, in the rain that Allah pours from heaven, and the earth that has fallen from death lives on them, and in the living creatures that he scattered over earth, in motion and changes of winds, that clouds between heaven and earth, as they drive their servants. Truly here are the hidden signs for those who understand. The hidden signs. This is the zodiac. The heavens. The living creatures are the fish in Pisces, the lamb, ram in Aries, the bull in Taurus, the cow in Taurus, the crab, the scarab in Cancer, the lion in Leo, the scorpion, and all the belly crawling creatures, like the snake, for example. Ophiuchus is right next to Scorpio, so that's the serpent bearer. Okay, they both crawl on their belly. It's a punishment. It's considered a low form of life on Earth. The horses are Sagittarius. Truly, here are those signs for people who understand. 213. On the day of the Lord's judgment, he sent the book of truth with them, so that people judge among themselves all that diverge, their passions, when clear signs appeared to them. The judgment day is December 21st. The Quran was sent for people to judge, Libra, amongst themselves when these clear signs appeared to them. It's all about knowing what days correspond to what sign, and then what signs correspond to what it means. 239. But if you are in danger, pray on foot, or do not dismount from your horse. Well, dismounting from the horse, that's Sagittarius. When the danger has passed you, you call, O the Lord, with praise, how he taught you, and how until then you did not know. Okay, so they didn't know, but they're talking about dismounting the horse is Sagittarius. 261. And those who on the path of the Lord spend from their good to that single grain are like those who gave birth to 7 ears. The grain is Virgo, the virgin, the sign of the woman who metaphorically gave birth to the 7 planets. Okay, because she has the womb. Okay, so that's the heavens giving birth to the heavens. Just another metaphor for the virgin birth, and one for the 7 planets in the heavens, the 7 ears. And whoever wants to own a beautiful garden of date palms and vines, which is washed by abundant streams, wherefore his pleasure all kinds of fruit, while old age befalls him and the children are weak, so that a fiery whirlwind falls on the garden and swallows it all to ashes. So the Lord explains his signs to you so that you can understand. I mean, if you understand this as astrotheology, then it's literally talking to you, as opposed to if you don't understand astrotheology, these are just metaphors that people are grasping for. Okay, vines are vineyards in Libra. The streams are the streams and the water signs of Pisces and Aquarius. God explains that these 12 signs so you can understand, so that you can decode this. Surah 3, the Imran family. He is the one who sent down the book to you. Some ayats in it bear an open meaning, revealing by himself, as it were, the mother of the book. Others are hidden in their interpretation, so some are hidden in their interpretation. But those whose heart is on the earth and sins wanders, desiring confusion follows what meets their pleasure, seeking out the hidden meaning, which is known only to Allah and is revealed only to those who possess deep knowledge. Again, understanding the zodiac. We believe in the holy book, and they say where all ayats are revealed from God, and only he whose mind is bright can embrace its message. This is talking about how the deeper interpretations within the Quran and those who seek out the hidden meanings, those with deep knowledge. Minds bright can embrace the message, which I believe is the work that I'm doing. Are you guys starting to see the constant patterns in every single book that we decode, how it's all the same stuff, the 12 signs, and then they're teasing you, where they're basically saying, those with signs to understand, those with ears to hear, those with eyes to see. That's what they're basically talking about. 14, and how beautifully all people see the love and earthly possessions. Here are women and sons. There are mountains of silver and gold, and marked horses, and herds of cattle, and a plowed field. The women are Virgo, the sign of the woman. The Taurus are the man sign Aquarius. The horses are Sagittarius and cattle is Taurus. A plowed field is Taurus as well. Now, the one thing I didn't do is I didn't go through the Quran. And when there was individual mentions of signs, I didn't include them. If you notice, I only include ones with multiple mentions because it would be way too long. There's way too many examples of them just randomly talking about a sign, and it's more prominent, it's more profound this way, I think. 113, but among them there are those who are not like these. Among the people of the scripture, there are those who with patient steadfastness for the truth stand, and surrendering with all their soul to Allah, spend long hours in the night reading his signs. What are the signs? The signs are the 12 signs of the zodiac, and the key words in each sign that you need to know to be able to decode this, like every other book. 190, verily in the creation of earth and sky and in the change of night to day, here are the hidden signs for those who have intelligence. The hidden signs are the zodiac. Again, they're teasing you. 195, the Lord heard them, calls and replies, I will never give to the abyss, not a single human deed, whether it is a man or virgin. That's an interesting passage. Whether it is a man or a virgin. Why are women never just referred to as women? Why is it always a virgin? It's because it represents Virgo. This is star poetry. The man is Aquarius and the woman is Virgo. Okay, and the virgin is Virgo, I should say. Surah 5, Meal, until the day of their resurrection at the judgment. And whenever they light the fire of war, the Lord will put it out. The judgment happens in Libra on September 21st. The fire of war comes from the god of war, Mars, who's the ruling planet of Aries. Those are opposing signs. Surah 6, Cattle. And among them, there are those who only pretendingly listens to you. We put a cover on their hearts so that they would not understand it. And we covered their ears with deafness. And even if they see all the signs, they will not believe them. This is the signs of heavens. He is the one who placed the stars for your need to show you the way. When darkness falls on land or sea, descends. Thus we clarify our signs for those in whom knowledge lives. You have to know the signs. It's for you to understand what signs they're talking about, what patterns they're directing you to look at in the sky. That's what it's basically talking about. 99, he is the one who brings down water from you to you from the sky. And with it, we give plants of all kinds to grow. And with it, we grow shoots of cereals. From there, we grew grains, sitting in an ear of a dense side by side. From the date palm, its ovaries, bunches of fruits hang low, gardens of vines, olives, pomegranates, which in many ways are so similar and yet so different from each other. When fruits appear on them, rejoice at how they are poured and ripen. Truly in this are hidden signs for those who believe in God. This makes so much sense when you understand that it's just astrotheology. So the grains are planted in Taurus, then in April, showers bring May flowers. Everyone knows that. That's in Taurus. Water from the sky, the grains grow. You reap in Virgo. Gardens of vines and olives, grapes and olives are pressed in Libra. These are the hidden signs you need to know. No, when you reap in Virgo, and then the gardens of vines and olives being in Libra, those are connecting signs. Again, we start to see that this has patterns in it too, connecting signs and opposing signs. So we interpret our signs to them in different ways, so that they could not say you from others learn this, and so that the truth be clearly explained for those who have knowledge. So follow what your Lord has revealed to you by suggestion. Take in pairs 8 heads of cattle, 2 from sheep and 2 from goats. So why these 3 random animals? They're leaving out millions and millions of other animals, because the cattle are Taurus, the sheep are Aries, and the goat is Capricorn. Ox, Taurus, sheep, Aries, those are connecting signs. Surah 7, obstacles. And the Libra will be faithful on that day. Libra translates to Libra, by the way. And those whose cup will be heavy. In the delight of paradise dwell. And those whose cup is lightweight will doom themselves to destruction, because they were lawless in relation to our signs. Libra is Libra, where is the judgment? Which is the judgment. Cup being heavy or light refers to the sins one have to account for. Our signs refer to the signs of the zodiac. They were lawless in relation to the signs. They didn't understand the signs. They didn't understand the signs like we do. 32, say all these blessings of a neighbor's life for those who believed in God with all their souls, and only for them on the day of resurrection at the judgment. Thus we explain our signs for those in whom understanding lives. I mean, this reads like something that makes a lot of sense when you read it through the astrological lens. The signs are the signs in the sky. They tell you when to plant, when to harvest, when winter is coming. They tell you what season it's in. The resurrection comes December 25th, the day in which the sun is resurrected from the dead. From the judgment, which takes place on September 21st, which is the fall equinox. This is the explanation for the signs of the times. Before those who consider our signs to be false and glorify over them the gates of heaven will not open, and they will not enter paradise until the camel squeezes through the eye of a needle. So we reward the wicked. The signs are the zodiac. They tell you everything they need to know. Now, a camel can't pass through the eye of a needle, but the light of the constellation Camelopardalis can. Okay, these are just celestial metaphors. Sorry about that. 107, 108, 109, 110, 111. And Musa is Moses, by the way. Musa threw down his rod, and in front of everyone, he turned into a serpent. He stretched out his hand, and she flashed whiteness before the eyes of all the beholding. Then the nobles from the people of the Pharaoh said, this indeed is a skilled sorcerer, and he wants to expel you from your land. What is your advice? They answered, delay him and his brother. And the summoners went to the cities. Musa is Moses. The serpent is the 13th sign in sidereal astrology, Ophiuchus, which is between Libra and Scorpio. It's known as the serpent bearer. Delay him and his brother in Gemini. Now, those happen to be opposing signs. Surah 10, Yunus. He is the one who made the sun life-giving brilliance, established the moon that lights pores and phases, so that you know the number of years. Now they're talking about the creation of the sun and the moon. Now they're openly talking about it. 67, he is the one who created the night so that you can rest, and the day to let you see. Indeed, here are hidden signs for those in whom the desire to hear. Same as the Bible. Jesus says, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, talking about the signs in heaven. 101, say, look around everything in heaven and on earth, and neither the signs nor those who carry the message can be useful to people who are stubbornly unfaithful. These are people who don't open their eyes to this stuff. The signs in the sky are not useful to people who do not recognize them. Surah 12, Yusuf. and 2 young men entered in the dungeon with him. One of them said, in a dream, I saw that I was squeezing wine from grapes. Another one said, I saw that I was carrying bread on my head and the birds peck at it. Tell us the meaning of these dreams. After all, we see that you are the one of those who act accordingly to knowledge and kindness. Okay, so the dreams, the wine is Libra and the bread comes from Virgo, the lady with the wheat stalk. Those are connecting signs. That's the dream. 43. And the king said, truly in a dream, I saw 7 well-fed cows, which 7 thin cows eat, and also 7 green ears and 7 others reaped. The cows are the female bull, which is in Taurus, and the corn, the green ears of corn, is Virgo. Corn is typically harvested in September, hence Virgo. Surah 15, Al-Hijr. Verily, here are the signs for those who seek to recognize the meaning of our signs. The hidden signs are the meanings of the hidden signs are the zodiac. They keep peppering you with this, okay? It's amazing that I've done all these books, and it's amazing that people still 2 things. Number 1, believe it's actually the word of God and not written by people. And number 2, they're all the same. At the basis, they're all the same. How many lives have been lost because of this? It's staggering to think that we're still getting dumber as a society and people are still taking religion and these texts literally. Surah 16, bees. He created cattle. For you, it contains both warmth and every other benefit. And from it, you will be flesh for food. He created horses for you, mules and donkeys for journeys and for magnificent ceremonies. He creates for you much of that which you hitherto unknown. The cattle is Taurus and the horse is Sagittarius. The donkey is a Celis Borealis and the donkey is located in Cancer. He used it to grow cereals, olives, palms, vines, and many other fruits for your food. Indeed, there is a sign here for those who give themselves up to meditation. I laugh because when you read it this way, it's just, I'm using one thing. I'm using, for every book that I've ever done so far with you guys, I've done like maybe 12 or 15 different episodes. I'm using one thing. I'm not using apologetics. I'm not using a PhD in theology to break this down. I'm using the zodiac and on occasion some of the constellations that they knew about at the time. That's all you need. He subdued you night and day and the sun and moon, and by his will he put the star in the service for you. Indeed, there's a sign here for those who have intelligence. So the olives and the vines are Libra. That's the sign. Then it talks about the sun and the moon and the star in service, which is Polaris, the northern star. These are the sign for those who have intelligence. 67. From palm fruits and vines, you will find good food for yourself and an intoxicating drink. Here, verily, is for those who understand, is a sign for those who understand. Okay, the sign for you to understand is Libra. Okay, vines, grapes, Libra. Fruits, Libra. Intoxicating drink, wine from the grapes, Libra. They're talking about Libra here. Surah 18, cave. Musa said to his servant, I will not retreat until I reach the place of the confluence of the 2 seas. At least I have to go years. 61. When they reached the confluence of the 2 seas, they completely forgot about their fish, which directed its way straight to the sea in a wonderful way. This is talking about the confluence of 2 seas, the 2 water signs. I use water loosely because I'm always telling you guys that Aquarius is not a water sign, but when you decode astrotheologically, it is, because there is water in the water sign when the man's pouring the water out. Okay. The 2 water signs of Aquarius and Pisces. So he's talking about the firmament or the border between them, the confluence of the 2 seas, okay, where they connect. When they got there, they forgot about their fish. So now we know they're not talking about Pisces, okay? We know they're talking about Aquarius. Surah 19, Maryam. Maryam is Mary. Yahya is Yeshua, Jesus. And now when Yahya was born, may there be peace to him on the day he was born, on the day he dies, and on the day he will rise to life again. How can I have a baby, he said. How can I have a baby, she said, when no man touched me and I was not dissolute? She came to her people carrying the baby son in her arms. They said, oh, Maryam, you have done an unheard of deed. Yahya is Yeshua, Jesus. Maryam is his mother, Mary. The day he was born was December 25th, when the son is born again. The day he dies is December 21st, the day of death, the winter solstice. And the day he rises to life again is December 25th again. That's the astrotheological one. That's the astrotheology behind everyone who will say Jesus was born on September 11th or at the Feast of the Tabernacles, and that he was crucified around Passover because Passover was the last meal. That's the story that revolves around the astrotheology that it's all based on. Also, Daud and his son prophets. Also, Daud and his son Suleiman. Well, that's David and Solomon. When they gave judgment on the field, which was harmed by the stray sheep belonging to the family from their community, we ourselves were present at their trial. The judgment is Libra, the scales of justice. The sheep is Aries, the ram, the lamb. Libra and Aries are opposing signs. So once again, here we see the opposing signs. 91, and the one that kept the virgin flesh, and we breathed into her from our spirit and made her son a sign for all worlds. Virgin is Virgo, the sign of the woman. The sun is Aquarius, the son or the boy, man. They are the signs for the world. Surah 28, the story. When he came to the drinking place of Midian, he found a crowd of people who their flocks watered. And apart from them, he saw two girls who drive aside their cattle. He asked them, "What is your business?" They answered, "We cannot water our cattle until all the shepherds leave, and our father is a deep old man." 4 sentences. The two girls are Virgo, the sign of the woman. The cattle is Taurus. The shepherds are Aries, the ram. The father is Aquarius, the sign of the man. 4 sentences, 4 signs. Surah 47, Muhammad. 15. Here is a figurative parable of paradise, which was promised to the faithful. In it are rivers of water that will never be spoiled, and rivers of milk that do not change taste, and rivers of wine to delight those who drink, and rivers of honey that cleared. 3 sentences, or 2.5 sentences. The rivers of water are Aquarius, Pisces. The rivers of milk are the Milky Way galaxy, whose excuse me, whose center is in Sagittarius. The river of wine is Libra. When you press for the grapes, you get the wine. Now the rivers of honey are in Cancer, where the stars of the beehive cluster are. Scattering, Surah 51. Indeed, the judgment of retribution will come as a sign of heaven, the owner of the ways. The sign of heaven of judgment is Libra, the scales, the justice, the judgment, the just one. Surah 55, merciful. He assigned the paths of motion to the sun and to the moon, and determine their phases. The stars and the sky and the trees on earth bow their heads before him. He set up the height vault of heaven, and by his will he set the scales for measuring good and evil. We're talking about the sun and the moon once more in their phases. The vault of heaven, the scales, is the sign of Libra once again. Surah 85, towers. In the sign of the sky, the owners of the zodiac signs, as a sign of the promised day, last judgment. Finally, towards the end, we have open talk about the zodiac and the creator of it all. The judgment is Libra again. Surah 95, the fig tree. I swear by the fig tree, the mountains of Jerusalem, the olive tree, Damascus Hill. Is Allah not the best of judges? The olives are in Libra. The judgment is also in Libra. Figs are also good to eat at the first time in June, so around Cancer time, and the second time around Libra time in September. So this passage is talking about the sign of Libra. Okay, and those are all the books that I've done so far, guys, with you. So I wanted to thank you tremendously for watching this, for sharing it, for reaching out to me. I have a book series that talks about these topics as well. It's called Into the Rabbit Hole. Beneath the Veil is the first book. Into the Rabbit Hole series at gmail.com is where you can email me. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the 72 virgins, because people get very confused about it. Okay, the 72 virgins are actually astrology. 72 virgins. There's a star that borders Virgo called 70 Virginis. Okay, that's the 70 virgins. Virgo is the 71st virgin. So you have 70 Virginis and Virgo. Those are the 71 virgins. And the 72nd virgin is the virgin you marry on earth and have a family with. Okay, so those are the 72 virgins that all this craziness goes over. Okay, so I wanted to thank you guys once again, and hopefully I'll see you soon.